I'm Josh Ryan, licensed professional counselor, and this is your daily rep, a short practice to build emotional control under pressure. Most people think control looks fast. Quick answer, quick comeback, quick decision, quick reaction. But in pressure, speed is often the first sign that control is slipping. Because when a person is truly grounded, they do not rush to prove it. They do not scramble to regain power. They do not let urgency force their hand. Instead, they slow down, and that matters. Because in tense moments, the body wants speed. It wants a discharge. It wants movement. It wants an immediate release from the discomfort. That is why people interrupt. That is why people snap back. That's why they make decisions too early. That is why they send the text too soon or raise their voice too quickly and commit to things they have not fully thought through. Fast feels powerful in the moment, but fast is often just unregulated energy wearing the mask of confidence. Real control has a different texture. It's measured, deliberate, it's steady. Slow is smooth, and smooth is what keeps you from becoming chaotic when pressure arises. When someone challenges you, the instinct is to tighten up and accelerate. You want to defend yourself immediately. You want to explain to possibly correct. You want to shut down the moment as fast as possible. But the faster you move internally, the more likely you are to lose precision. And when his precision is gone, control is gone with it. That is true in communication, in leadership, in parenting. It's true in conflict, in recovery, and emotional discipline. A rushed mind makes sloppy choices. A rushed mouth creates unnecessary damage. A rushed nervous system confuses movement with mastery. But slowing down changes the quality of your response. It gives your thinking time to catch up with your emotion. It gives your body time to settle, your tone time to soften. It gives your values time to re-enter the conversation, and that is the real goal. Not just reacting less, but responding better. Because there is a difference between doing something fast and doing something well. A lot of people live as if urgency should always decide their next move. But urgency is not always grounded in wisdom. Sometimes urgency is just anxiety with a deadline. And when anxiety is driving, everything starts to get rough. Your words get roughed. Your tone gets rough. Choices, relationships get rough. That is why smooth matters. Smooth means your response is not jerky, scattered, or emotionally violent. Smooth means you're not lurching from impulse to impulse. Smooth means you are staying connected to your intention while the moment is trying to pull you off course. And that kind of steadiness is not weakness. It's training. People who are emotionally disciplined often look slower from the outside. That is only because they are not being dragged around by every surge inside them. They're still moving, they're still responding, they're still out front leading, but they're doing it with regulation instead of panic. That is why slow is not passive. Slow is organized, conscious, and controlled. Now here's where this becomes practical. Slowing down is not just a mindset. It is a skill you build through repetition. It shows up in small moments long before it shows up in the big ones. It shows up when someone interrupts you and you choose not to talk over them. It shows up when you feel misunderstood and choose to clarify instead of escalate. It shows up when your phone lights up with a message that triggers you and you decide to wait before responding. It shows up when your body tightens. Instead of pushing forward, you pause and breathe. These are small reps, but small reps build nervous system control. And nervous system control is what determines how you perform under pressure. Because when pressure hits, you do not rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your training. If your training is speed, you will rush. If your training is reaction, you will react. But if your training is slowing down, you will stabilize. And stabilization is what gives you access to better decisions. Think about the moments you regret the most. Usually, they did not happen because you paused too long. They happened because you moved too fast. You spoke before thinking. You pushed before you understood. You reacted before regulating. You tried to seize control, and in doing so, lost it. That is the pattern. Fast reaction creates rough outcomes. Rough outcomes create emotional fallout. And then you spend the next several hours, days, trying to clean up what a few unmanaged seconds created. This is the cost of speed without control. And this is why the pause and respond framework matters. The pause is not there to make you passive. It's there to make you accurate. Because accuracy requires enough space to develop and utilize awareness. And awareness requires slowing down long enough to notice what is happening in you before you decide what to do around you. So when tensions rise, ask yourself, what would it look like to go smooth here? Not dramatic, not forceful, not immediate, but just smooth. Maybe it means taking one breath before speaking. Maybe it means lowering your volume. Maybe it means asking one more question before making the assumption. Maybe it means 10 extra minutes before sending that message. Maybe it means intentionally not matching that other person's speed. These matter more than most people realize. Because when someone is escalated, they're often moving fast. Fast words, fast emotions, and fast pressure. One of the strongest things you can do is refuse to borrow their pace. You don't have to speed up just because they are unsteady. You don't have to let their urgency become your operating system. You remain measured, grounded, and in control. That's leadership. And it is also protection. Because a smooth response protects your authority. It creates credibility, it protects your relationships, and it protects your future. A lot of damage comes from people trying to regain power too quickly. But power is not proven by immediate force. Power is often revealed in disciplined restraint. The person who can slow themselves down in a heated moment is usually the person who still has access to choice. And choice is where control lives. So today's rep is simple. When you feel something speeding up, do not just ask what is happening around you. Ask what's happening inside you. Notice any tightening, pressure, any urgency to hurry. Then interrupt it. Take the break. Relax your muscles, drop your shoulders. Slow your voice. Shorten your sentence. Create space on purpose. Even 2 seconds of intentional pause can change the entire direction of a moment. That is how control is built. Not in perfect situations, but in real ones. Because slow is smooth, and smooth is control. Not because slow magically solves everything, but because slowing down gives you a better chance of staying aligned with who you want to be when the pressure shows up. We're still working towards the 30-day discipline run. And if you're serious about building emotional control, stay with us. If you'd like to get the book, Pause and Respond, you can go to the pauseandrespond.com website. Love you to join the show and keep listening. Less reaction, more choice.